mandate.
Because you are in the ministry, and I think just going back to you being a pastor, because you do a lot in the community, and so you're not the kind of like the traditional pastor. You're out there, you're out and about, you're doing things. And what I do want to touch on, because I remember, was it 2015, Pastor Joseph? You started the walk for hope.
Yeah, the Hope Walk. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry, the
Hope
hope walk.
yeah.
Yeah, hope walk. And since then, I've noticed you pop up. Your name pops up everywhere, and you're doing so much in the community. It's like, man, this guy, man. And I think people have this image of a pastor. You're obviously in the church Sunday and you meet and greet people, but you are quite entrepreneurial. Well, that's what I kind of gauge. And you're not the traditional pastor. And so, just tell us a little bit about the Hope Walk, because how did it come about? How did the whole thing? How did you establish that Hope Walk?
Yeah, so the story is that we lost a friend in 2010 to suicide. A close friend of ours. We had just had dinner. I think it was 2 nights before, and we just played that buzz game a week before because we had caught up. So so sadly we lost to 2010, and so it's a whole framing that we do sometimes as Christians. It's it was raw, it was real, but then we add our jargon onto it, which is not helpful sometimes. And I'm not saying in that moment that happened, but I'm just saying that sometimes it's not helpful when people just need to be able to mourn or to be able to open up and be raw about it.
Yeah.
And so in that moment, back then, it was more for us, my wife and I, it was like, where do we go, or who do we talk to? Because now everyone wants to pray for you, but you don't want to pray. You can, I love the prayer, but man, I just want someone to sit down and listen. I don't know what my feelings are doing right now. I don't know. And you start pointing fingers, and you go, man, what went wrong? What happened? What did I do? You feel that guilt trip. And so that set the platform for us to really go on that journey for ourselves, just to work through some of our emotions and some of the stuff that we were dealing with, but also if there were anyone else. So it was a long journey. We got some healing through that as well. It's just processed it a lot. Got some good guidance from, like I said, my mentor as well. My wife and I, just on that journey. So they helped us through really well. And but also for us, we just thought, man, because my mind automatically goes community. I just thought, man, I wonder what our community feels like when in those moments where they're reaching out and they're not too sure where to reach out to. You're putting your hand out and you get slapped back in your face and you go, I get over it, or harden up and you'll be right. But it's dealing with those raw emotions. So basically, the story, fast forward 2015, I just thought, man, it'd be cool just to get like an event, because when it comes to stuff, I like doing things together in a community setting. So I just said, my wife and I are going for a walk with a few other friends in terms of suicide prevention. We want to acknowledge, but also we had Youthline on board to give some resources as well. So it was all about connecting the resource and also the community. But man, what happened in 2002, we put on Facebook 2015, October. By the time it came to February 2016, it had blown up to, I think it was, on the day we had approximately 3,000 people come for a walk, which we didn't expect. We had an indication because of Facebook, but we didn't expect that many people. But so we knew that there was a hurting community. People were still kind of working through their own emotions, and it was still raw.
Yeah.
And so from there, the journey started, where we started to explore how we can engage with our community more intentionally, because we didn't just want to have walks. We just want to make sure it's intentional as well, that there's something in for them in terms of resourcing. They can find support, they can find counselors. So we started this whole movement around that, and then it started to grow from there. We had different people in different communities from around the world contact us, and so we had to kind of frame a catch net just to make sure that they're protected as well. So in this space as well, because when you talk about suicide, it's not a tabletop topic. It's not something you talk around the dinner table. It's raw. You're dealing with raw emotions. So it's really just making sure we're guiding that conversation safely. So the crazy thing is that my first workshop I went to was actually taken by was led by Pitia and Caroline. It was a Safe Talk, but it was under Lifeline at the time, eh? And they had the contract then.
Right.
Yeah. So that was the first ever. Then I went on to done some other courses because I just don't want to do something and not be trained or have enough knowledge around the topic, and also keeping our community safe. So it exploded from there, went to different countries, and we celebrated the 5 years last year in lockdown. So still going strong. But the good thing is that all the different Hope Walks around the world have become their own trusts as well, as we wanted it, because we didn't want to just build this big machine and there was no intentionality behind it. So
Wow.
So still going strong, 6 years now. So
That's so cool, Pastor Joseph, because I didn't realize how big it is. I did have a look at on stuff, because on stuff.co.nz, they did say it was in Canada, some other countries.
So USA, Canada, Ireland, Fiji done theirs 2 years ago, and it's part of their health system now. So it's part of what they do as part of, because the thing is that, it's one thing having a walk, but there's got to be a connection point to other resources. A walk is what we realize is a great in health sector, they call it community organization, which is the big event. Everyone's there, you get the community engaged. But then there's another methodology they use, which is called co-design, which you got to work with the community to see what would actually help them. So we got onto that phase, and it just exploded. So we wanted to make sure that everyone was safe around the world as well, who were leading a lot of these Hope Walks and that. So so people own it themselves, to be honest. It was never meant to be me on top of the hill. It was more about community-led action, led by people who have been touched by suicide in some way.
Wow. And I can prove that, like you say, it's not about you. It's never been about you trying to, hey, this Pastor Joseph from the Navigators Church, and because I was reading through that the article on stuff.co.nz, and I do want to quote from stuff.co.nz. These are your words, Pastor Joseph. Our slogan is stronger together, and you said this: no single agency or group can fix this. We have to work together and be encouraged by each other. The Hope Walk movement will not change a thing by itself, but together we are stronger. Together we can turn the tide.
Yeah.
Bro, man, it's a true testament of who you are, Pastor Joseph.
Mandate.